Hi, and welcome to yet another edition of Ask Miss Judes. As usual, in this channel, we talk about lifestyle issues, relationships, family relationships, all kinds of things, work relationships, balancing work life, religion, spiritual life, all kinds of things, just lifestyle issues. And usually we respond according to the questions that people ask. So today I wanted to just talk about what I've chosen to call How Are You Choosing? And this is going to apply to several lifestyle categories that we fall into. How are you choosing? But I thought I would start by looking at how, for example, one chooses a life partner. So, when we're young, we're excited, you meet your significant other, everything is hunky dory, everything is amazing, we're very patient and tolerant, we make excuses for each other. Sometimes we're so excited we don't even see what is happening in front of us, and the person is really handsome or really beautiful, we get totally carried away. We choose because we think they're nice, they're fun to be with, but we haven't thought about what will happen when things don't go how we anticipate. So, in my instance, um, I would not say that I chose my husband. I think God chose him for me. And when you hear the story, you're going to know how. He was, in my opinion, he was just kind of too cool with himself. And I thought, this guy is just so conceited. But I was friends with his twin brother, who was, it's another story. I really don't want to go through the details. But eventually, my mom met him and she was sure that he was my husband. I was like, I don't know why you're so sure. I don't really like this guy that much. But mommy saw something in him that I didn't see. She saw a guy who was steady with his God. That's how she described him. Um, and 32 years later, I'm grateful that my mother influenced me positively enough, because see what I would have missed. I would probably have wanted something that looked different from what I was seeing, and I would be in a bind. So, one reason it's important for us to be careful, and I talk with my children all the time, because for us, marriage is a lifetime commitment. So, it's not something you run into without giving it thought. So, if there are problems, discover it now and deal with them. Talk about them, have a plan for how you would deal with disagreements. So I've said time and time again, my husband and I decided we're not going to go to bed without resolving our issues. I mean, sometimes we've really stayed up really late, sometimes for days, but then, you have a plan, right? So how do you choose a life partner? What is it that you're looking for? Is it somebody who's funny? What happens when they're no longer funny? Is it somebody who's really wealthy? What happens when he loses his wealth? Is it someone who's handsome? What happens when God forbid he has an accident and loses a limb and is no longer handsome, right? You want to be looking for something that is deep at the core that you can connect with. That come rain or shine, you know that you have this person in your corner, and the person know that they have you in their corner as well. Someone with whom you share values, like how would you raise your children, values around discipline, respect for family, respect for life, all those kinds of conversations. How are you choosing? Also, how are you choosing in your professional life? I always say that teaching chose me, I didn't choose it, because I finished high school at 17, and I wanted to be I wanted to be an actress, believe it or not. And my mom said no daughter of hers was going to be kissing a different man every week to say she was acting a play. So I wasn't going to do theater arts. And so she filled my university application forms, and she filled education in three different universities. So whichever one I went, I was going to be a teacher. I really was not happy, because at 17, you didn't think teaching was what you wanted to do. In my day, teachers were old and mean and always kind of looking really stern. So I didn't see myself as a teacher. Guys, by my third year at university, I knew that I was a teacher. I loved helping people. I loved working with people to find themselves and develop their skills. So I always say when I'm asked at work that my mom was the person that God used to choose my profession. So I say teaching chose me, I didn't choose it. Now, even while you are in your profession, there are people, I have had experiences of friends who moved around so much because they were offered more money for a similar position. So they walk away from where they have roots, go take this job with so much money. 6 months later, they're out of a job. Or they take the job with so much money, but the benefits that they walked away from would have outweighed the money that they went for. So be intentional in your choices. Again, we're saying, how are you choosing life? What are the choices you are making? Why are you going where you're going? Why are you in the profession you're in? Why are you living where you're living? Just be intentional about your choices. Who are your friends? Why are you hanging out with them? Are they adding value to you? Are they making you lazy? Are they making you just go with the flow? Are they bringing the best in you? Are they challenging you to be better than what you are? If you find that you're in a circle of friends and all of you are just just going through the motions, I am afraid you're going to wake up one morning and you're going to realize that you didn't have friends. So I want you to be intentional about everything you choose. I'm intentional even about what I put on. I'm intentional. I know that I've been intentional about how I eat because I do not want to get too big. I did want weight at some point and I got a bit, but I don't want to have too much. So I'm intentional about what I do. Now, the interesting thing about how you choose is you take responsibility for your choices. So if you have chosen to go down this road and it didn't work, take responsibility, pick up yourself, and choose better. The good thing about life is we can always choose better. So if you wake up today and you find that you made a bad choice, give yourself credit. Take the work that it needs to pick yourself up and choose better. Now, in relationships, especially if children are involved, you're going to find that your choices have to be even more significant. You can't just pick yourself and walk away. There are other lives that are going to be impacted. So I just want to ask you today that you should be careful how you choose, be deep, be intentional, don't be flimsy with things that can have implications for life. Choose well, and by the grace of God, of course, you all know, if you ask God's help, God says, do not lean on your own understanding. Call on Him and we should. So a few years ago, I would have had an opportunity at a really, 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 really better paying job at another college. And I prayed about it and it didn't feel right. And I talked to my husband about it and he too did not think it was right. I'm like, okay, that's my answer. I am not doing this. About a year or two later, I realized if I had gone, I probably would have been in jeopardy with my job because the entire landscape changed, right? So be careful how you choose. Let it not just be money or something that is ephemeral, that will pass away, that is the reason for your choices. Um, so again, as usual, I'll be grateful if you want to share some of your own experiences of choices that you made and how it turned out so that others can learn. Again, we're a supportive and a learning community, and I hope you like, share, and subscribe. You keep those messages and those questions coming in, and by the grace of God, I'll see you again real soon. Okay, so send your email to askmissjudz@gmail.com. So that's askmzjudz@gmail.com. Take care. Bye.